1 year ago today, the bullet nearly ended it all. The rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, the crowd was cheering, and then chaos. But somehow, by the grace of God, President Donald J. Trump survived. But tonight, we're asking a brand new question. Did he survive the bullet only to be abandoned by his own team? A damning new Senate report just dropped, and it doesn't pull any punches. According to the Judiciary Committee, the Secret Service had classified intelligence about a direct threat to President Trump's life 10 days before the rally. And what did they do with this information? Nothing. They kept it quiet. They didn't brief any local law enforcement. They didn't inform field agents. They didn't even alert the person in charge of securing the site, who, by the way, was working her very first event. So think about all of these events. The most targeted man on the planet, a known rally location, and advanced intel of a credible assassination threat. And they stayed silent? So what does this sound like to you? A bad day or a cover-up? And then it gets even worse, because while all of this stuff is happening, while the president was being left exposed, Pam Bondi was on TV night after night, you guys remember, promising that she had the Epstein files on her desk. These are her words, not mine, telling us that we were about to see something explosive. That was the list that was coming, that the evidence was real. But when the moment came, all she delivered was a stack of recycled documents, stuff that had already been released years earlier. There's nothing new, no new names, no names, no prosecutions, no truth. And so now the MAGA movement is boiling, because while Bondi was making plenty of empty promises, Dan Bongino, one of the most loyal, competent, and battle-tested warriors in the movement, walked out. Done. Gone. And he made it clear, it's her or me. So today I want to go a little bit deeper, because this is no longer just about Epstein, no longer just about a missed threat. This is about something bigger. The moment where MAGA looks in the mirror and asks, who can we really trust? Now, of course, you're going to hear what the Senate report actually says about that 10-day warning, why the so-called technical glitch excuse about the missing minute of Epstein surveillance footage doesn't hold up, the real reason why Dan Bongino walked, and why Kash Patel considered resigning right alongside with him, the internal divide that's now threatening the unity of this movement, from Tucker Carlson and Steve Bannon to Pam Bondi and Trump himself. And most importantly, why Trump stood by Bondi, and whether this decision could cost him the trust of his strongest defenders. Now, we're about to walk through probably one of the most emotionally charged betrayals in modern political history here, a moment where Trump was nearly taken from us, and the people sworn to protect him. They stayed silent. Now, you tell me, is this incompetence, or was President Trump deliberately left vulnerable? Because after what we're about to reveal here, you're never going to look at Bondi, Bongino, or the system the same way again. If you appreciate these news updates, please hit the like button and subscribe. All right. It's been exactly 1 year since the day America nearly lost its president. Not to an election, not to a scandal, but to a bullet. The rally in Butler, Pennsylvania was supposed to be just another Trump event, a celebration, a patriotic gathering, but instead it became a national trauma, because Donald J. Trump, the sitting president of the United States, was targeted for assassination, and he barely survived. But here's what's even worse than the shot that was fired. Today, July 12, 2025, the Senate just dropped a bombshell report confirming something far more dangerous than the gunman himself. The United States Secret Service knew about the threat. They knew about the threat 10 days before it happened. Now, let that sit with you. 10 days, okay? And they did nothing. This wasn't just a slip up. This was a catastrophic failure of duty. And now that essentially failure has torn a hole right through the very core of the MAGA movement. The man who stood up to the deep state, took on China, slashed taxes, defended our borders, and brought patriotism right back into style, was abandoned by the very people who swore to protect him. But the 10-day warning, that's just the beginning. Now, what happened next is going to shake you even more. Now, I know it's easy to feel like you've been forgotten once you retire, like nobody really cares about, that you're paying out of pocket, right? But that changes the very moment that you call chapter. Now, I partner with them for a reason, because they actually listen. Sharon Bertusik, she called after getting kicked off of Medicaid. Her medication costs exploded after that point. Her premium shot through the roof, and it felt like she was being punished for something out of her control. Chapter stepped in, though. They helped her on a Medicare plan with zero premiums, zero medication costs, and co-pays that dropped from $89 to $20. Now, this is not just savings. This is relief. So if you feel stuck or overwhelmed, you're not alone. You've got an ally right now with Chapter. Give our friends at Chapter a call. Phone numbers down below, or better yet, hit them up on their website at askchapter.org/Ron and get help from someone who actually cares. Now, according to the Senate Judiciary Report led by Senator Chuck Grassley, a man who's no stranger to government corruption, a senior level Secret Service official received classified intelligence about a credible direct threat to President Trump's life. Not some rumor, not a vague tweet, classified intelligence. 10 days out, okay? And what did they do? They didn't just pass it to the rally site coordinator. They didn't inform the local police. They didn't even tell the new agent in charge, who was working her very first Trump of it, by the way. They left her to get the lay of the land without a clue that she was going to be walking into a live kill zone. Now, I want you to tell me, if this had happened under Biden and a known threat wasn't shared with federal agents, would it be called a mistake? Or would they be holding hearings right now on domestic terrorism and treason? So I'm gonna go ahead and ask you directly, because you deserve to be a part of this. Was this just a breakdown, or was President Trump deliberately left vulnerable by people inside the very system that he's been trying to clean out? But here's where it all really starts to stink, because while agents stayed silent and intelligence sat locked away, Pam Bondi, yes, the same Pam Bondi that President Trump defended, was out in front of the cameras promising to deliver justice for Epstein's victims. But when the time came, all we got were some recycled documents and a story that fell apart faster than Biden's press conferences. Now, hey guys, real quick, my free breaking news email drops what I cannot say here, so stay in the loop. I left a pinned comment for you guys down below and in the description. It's totally free. Hit the breaking news newsletter, join it so you do not miss out. All right, now let's talk about Pam Bondi, and more importantly, why her name is front and center of all of this mess. Because while the Secret Service sat on a threat to the president, Pam Bondi was on Fox News promising fireworks, right? She looked the American people in the eye and said, "We've got the Epstein files. They're explosive. They're sitting on my desk." But when the moment came to deliver, she handed out binders filled with outdated material already released years earlier. Not one new name, not one new prosecution, just fluff, repackaged fluff. Now, you could put lipstick on a pig, but it's still you know what I'm saying? And if that wasn't bad enough, remember this, guys. 1 minute of surveillance footage from the Epstein cell is missing. The same video that she claimed that had the definitive video evidence. And so what was Bondi's excuse? Oh, it's an old system. The tapes reset every night from the 1990s. What? Really? This is the Attorney General of the United States blaming a decades-old VCR glitch for a missing minute of surveillance in the most controversial death in modern history? Anybody else buying that? Yeah. Now, I want you to be honest right now, guys. Do you believe that missing minute was just a tech issue, just a technical glitch or something like that? Or was it removed on purpose to protect someone powerful? And of course, if you still trust Bondi after this, then you're going to have to explain why, okay? Now, here's where the story really flips from failure to fallout. So Dan Bongino, a man who served in the NYPD, the Secret Service, this is a man who risked everything to speak out against the deep state. A man who has never, ever turned his back to President Trump until now. Now, after watching Bondi make promises she couldn't keep, after watching her fail to deliver the Epstein files, and after seeing her protected instead of being replaced, Dan walked. Now, according to sources very close to him, Dan gave the administration an ultimatum. She goes or I do. And when Trump stood by Bondi, Bongino, loyal to the mission, but no longer, to the dysfunction, he just essentially walked away. He stepped away. This wasn't betrayal. This was conviction. Dan didn't leave Trump. He left what Bondi had turned the DOJ into, a media machine, a distraction, and a shield for inaction. So if you were, let me ask you, if you were in Dan's shoes, what would you have done? Would you just keep carrying water for somebody who couldn't protect the president or couldn't tell the truth about Epstein? Would you stay silent if your team ignored a warning that could have cost Trump his life? This is why Dan's gone. And if you got a spine, you can't fault him for it. But here's the part that's really confusing MAGA voters everywhere. Why did Trump defend Bondi despite the failures, despite the backlash, despite Bongino's exit? Now, let's go ahead and clear something up here, okay? This is where people start losing the plot. President Trump did not defend failure. He didn't excuse what happened at Butler, Pennsylvania. He didn't ignore what went wrong with the Epstein docs, okay? But he did what great leaders do under pressure. He held the line. Now, after the Senate report dropped, after Bongino walked, after influencers like Bannon, Megyn Kelly, and Tucker Carlson started piling on, Trump, he went to Truth Social and he posted this. He's asking a question: what's going on with my boys and in some some cases gals. They're going after Attorney General Pam Bondi, who is doing a fantastic job. We are one team MAGA. Now, I don't know what you heard, but that's not weakness. That wasn't blindness. That was a strategic act of compassion. Now think about it. What happens if Trump just throws Bondi under the bus while the media is already screaming cover up, right? You get a full-blown media frenzy feeding going on. MAGA fractures, trust in his team collapses, and the media finally gets their headline. Trump implodes his own DOJ over Epstein, okay? No. So what Trump did was take a short-term PR hit, okay, to protect the long-term unity of the movement. This is what smart leaders do. You don't go burn the whole damn house down because one pipe is leaking. You fix it quietly. Put a little JB Weld on it efficiently and without giving CNN another clip to weaponize. So I want to go ahead and ask you this. Was it a mistake or was it Trump thinking 5 moves ahead? All right. Is he doing 5D chess again? Is he protecting the movement or is he protecting something that we don't even know about yet? Because this is the tension that's coming next. Now, let me just go ahead and say something that you're probably not going to, you're not surprised to say on camera, okay? Right now, the biggest threat to the MAGA movement is not Joe Biden. It's not Kamala Harris. It's not even the DOJ. It's us. Internal division, backbiting, tribal infighting. The cracks are showing. And if we don't address it right now, we risk handing the next election to the very people who tried to take Trump out, okay? So on the one side, you got Bongino, Bannon, Tucker, and Megyn Kelly calling out Bondi, pushing for accountability. But on the other side, you got Trump loyalists saying, shut up, fall in line, don't give MSNBC ammo. And stuck in the middle, millions of patriots like you trying to figure out who to trust. This is where it really gets dangerous, to be honest. When truth seekers are branded as traitors, when legitimate questions about incompetence are treated like insurrection, you're not defending the movement anymore at this point. You're protecting the rock. So I'm asking you, do we fix this now by confronting it head on? Or do we sweep it under the rug and just pretend Bongino didn't just walk away in disgust? Do we demand more from Bondi and the DOJ? Or do we let the media spin this into Trump's team protects pedophiles like they're already starting to whisper right now? But it gets worse because that Epstein surveillance video, the one that Bondi promised that was going to prove it all, there's a missing minute there. One crucial minute. And what Bondi said about it, honestly, made everything sound 10 times more suspicious. You want to talk about a smoking gun? Let's go back to Epstein for a moment, okay? Because Bondi kept saying, we got it. The tape's coming. The video proves it all. She told the American people there was surveillance video that would show Epstein acted alone, that we would finally see clear as day that no one else entered the cell. But when that footage was finally released, there was a problem. A full minute was missing. So what does Bondi say when reporters ask why? Well, she blames it on a 1990s era system that resets the video every night, as if we were all just too dumb to know that footage like this would be backed up 6 ways to Sunday. Really, Pam? Like, you think we're all that stupid? No. Okay. This is the most watched prison cell in America, housing the most controversial prisoner in modern day history. And your best excuse is the tape reset itself. Anybody else buying this? So now here's what kind of makes this even more disturbing, believe it or not. That missing minute, it happened on the same day Dan Bongino went on record saying there's nothing in that file suggesting murder. The footage shows Epstein was alone. And now we learn that the footage isn't complete. So now the question is, was Bondi lying to us or was someone lying to her? Or maybe, and if so, who doctored the evidence before it hit her desk? Do you believe that this was a technical failure or do you believe somebody didn't want us to see what really happened in that missing minute? Drop your thoughts in the comments down below because what I want to share with you now kind of makes this question even more urgent. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to overcome this light little scratchy throat. So I hope, does anybody else have allergies right now? I don't know if it's an allergy or whatever. Anyway, so we've already talked about the failure to act, failure to deliver, failure to lead. But this next part, it's no longer about failure. We need to talk about intent. We now know that the Secret Service had intelligence, credible, classified intel, warning of a potential assassination plot against the president of the United States 10 days before Butler, mind you, okay? And instead of raising the alarm, they let the threat move closer, and closer until the gunfire. Now, think about what that means. They had the intel, they had the resources, they had the time, and yet no local coordination, no rooftop security, a brand new agent, super duper wet behind the ears, sent in blind. The president of the United States, or at the time, the president-elect or president-to-be or candidate at the time, exposed in the open air and nearly killed. So Would you leave your child unprotected if you had a death threat and 10 days to prepare? Would you? Would you let your own spouse walk into danger just because some higher up didn't want to cause a scene? Then why was that done to President Trump? Why was that done to the President of the United States? This wasn't just a bad day. This was a day that they let happen, either through total incompetence or something even darker than that. Now, I'm not saying that this was an inside job. I'm saying that there's just way too much smoke to ignore. And when the MAGA president, the one who took on the globalist agenda, the FBI, the DOJ, and the deep state, gets left vulnerable like this, you better believe it wasn't just a glitch. Let's be real, guys. Pam Bondi has lost the room. Whether you believe she was set up, unqualified, or just in over her head, I think it's rather clear that this job is just too important for anybody who can't deliver results. What do you think? This is not a PR gig. This is the tip of the spear. The person in this chair is supposed to strike fear into the heart of the corrupt, not do some softball Fox hits and vanish when the documents go missing. So what do we need now? Well, we need a real prosecutor, number one. We need a fearless investigator, someone who doesn't care about being on camera, just cares about taking down criminals. Someone with constitutional backbone who will go after governors, AGs, and deep state holdovers without flinching. So who's on the table? Let's talk names. Now, some people are floating Harmeet Dillon, a seasoned attorney, sharp as a tack, not afraid of a fight. Others mentioning Stephen Miller. Yes, he's known for policy, but this man knows the Constitution inside and out. He's tactical and he doesn't blink. Even Kash Patel has come up, but he's already said that he's staying on mission with the president. And after watching him clean house at the FBI, you have to wonder, is that where he's most valuable? So I want to hear from you. Who do you think, or who do you trust to clean up this mess? Who do you believe has the fire, the spine, the skills to do what Pam Bondi couldn't? Drop 3 names in the comments, and I don't mean celebrities, I mean killers in court, okay? Real constitutional warriors, okay? The next attorney general needs to be the kind of person who doesn't chase cameras. They chase indictments, okay? President Donald J. Trump survived the unthinkable. He survived the rally attack. He survived the lies. He survived a system that sat on intel and did nothing with it. But what the Senate report confirms, what Bongino's resignation proved, what Bondi's failure exposed, is that he didn't survive without scars. MAGA's gut check is it's the reality at this point. This wasn't just about a bullet. This is about who's really in the foxhole. When it matters most, Trump wasn't protected by the people paid to do it. When the documents were needed, Bondi did not deliver. And when accountability was demanded, Bongino walked away. This is the gut check moment for MAGA. And I'm not saying this to try to divide the movement. I'm saying it because you deserve the truth. That's why you guys are here, right? Because President Trump stood back up after Butler. He stood tall. He kept fighting. Immediately, he put his fist up in the air. How many of you guys remember that, right? He never once asked for sympathy, but we owe him more than silence. We owe him more than excuses. And we owe him a Justice Department that doesn't just look good on TV, but delivers justice every single day, right? So I'm going to go ahead and leave you with this. Was Trump truly protected, or was he abandoned? Was this a simple mistake, or did the rot go deeper than we ever imagined? And more importantly, what are we going to do about it? Now, if you believe President Trump deserves a team that actually protects him, I want you to smash the like button, drop your 3 picks for Attorney General, and make your voice heard. And listen, guys, if you made it this far, I know you're one of the few who actually cares about the truth, so don't stop here. YouTube thinks you're going to love the next video that's about to pop up right now. It's not just a random pick. This is the next piece of the puzzle. So click it, watch it, and let's keep pushing for the truth, accountability, and real justice together. This is not over, not even by a long shot. Trump was abandoned. Senate drops a damning report. Bondi got blasted. Bongino's gone, and we'll see you on the next one. Hey, by the way, guys, if you're one of the real ones who really enjoy what we do here on the channel, you've got to check out the Inner Circle. This is where our true supporters get exclusive access to content that I just can't share here, completely commercial free. It's also the best way to keep this channel going strong. So if you want to be a part of something special, join us over there. Links in the description or in the pinned comment down below.